Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today's video I am going to be doing a manga review. It's been a while since I've done this, but this is a manga that I've been trying to avoid reading, but at the same time I want to get to the bottom of this story. And as you guys already saw by the title, we're going to be talking about Blood on the Tracks, Volume 3 and Volume 4. So just so you guys know, if you guys don't know what Blood on the Tracks is, I already did a review for Volumes 1 and 2. So if you guys have not watched that video, I would recommend you guys go and watch it. I'll be leaving a link to it down below. But another thing is I'm going to be giving a little bit of spoilers for volumes 3 and 4 because I feel like I cannot talk about everything that happens in those volumes without having to give a little bit of spoilers. I hope I'm making sense. Anyways, let's get started with this manga review. Okay, let's start with volume 3. This is the cover and the back one. So after the events that happen in volume 2, how volume 2 ends with the mom kissing Seichi on the mouth, Seichi develops a sort of trauma, which he turns out he cannot speak. He has trouble speaking after that kiss, and he kind of, from what I understood, from what I gather, is that there's a lot happening after the trauma he had to witness in the last 2 volumes, and then the manipulation his mom is giving him. Everything starts to kind of build up for him to the point where he has trouble speaking up. He cannot express everything that's going, and it's become too much for him to the point where he is stuttering, and it becomes a problem because, as you can see, he gets teased by friends in school, and it becomes even more for him, right? And then we have the situation with the girl he has a crush on. I keep forgetting her name. Anyways, I'll say the girl's name if I remember it. But let's see that she's starting to notice that the mom has something to do with why he's stuttering, and he's so traumatized by everything that happened that he starts to push everyone, like friends and even her, away because he's afraid of how his mom is going to react. So in this volume we see that the family starts having issues. The parents are fighting mainly because the Seichi's mom doesn't want to go to the hospital to visit her nephew, and that has kind of made a trouble for the family, especially because of the dad. I feel like the dad doesn't have any sympathy for Seichi's mom. Anyways, here it is. They're having an argument, and she confesses that she has been feeling alone, that she feels alone, and it's in this argument that we kind of get to see a little bit more on what's going on with the mom, about how her mind sort of works. It's complicated. She's a very complicated woman. I feel like we are barely scratching the surface of everything that's going on with her. And this is the point where it gets a little bit weird, because after the argument, she's like kneeling on the floor, and it's like she's talking with a child. She's like talking with a child, but there's no one there. And here it's a bit eerie to see this, and after learning that she feels lonely, and it kind of gets you thinking, is she feeling lonely because Sage is growing up, or it's something else? But this whole thing kind of turns into an obsession with Seiji that gets even weirder as the story goes on. So the dad is tired of them not visiting his nephew at the hospital, and so he decides to take Seiji, which causes even more trouble for him, because he has to witness his cousin being in bed rest, and it's like he knows what happened, but he cannot tell anyone because of the repercussions it's going to have towards his mom. And let's be honest, the mom is really manipulative. We get to see that even more in this chapter, because this whole scene when they're in the dark and the mom arrives, and she's worried about him because he didn't arrive home. She didn't know his dad took him to the hospital. But this is where he's like recalling everything that happened, especially that kiss, and he's very disturbed by it, and he feels like he has kind of, I'm not sure if I would call it a panic attack, but he has this reaction where he wants to vomit, and the mom gets even worried, and she starts to help him by putting her fingers inside his mouth, and it's like, what are you doing, lady? Let him breathe. But Seiji pushes his mom, and now she's like blaming him. Well, not necessarily blaming him, but she's like, why did you push me? Instead of asking, are you okay, or something, just, why did you push me? And like her expressions, I have to give it to the mangaka Shuso Ushimi. He's so good at drawing expressions to the point where you, the reader, it makes you even uncomfortable to be reading this and to be watching the facial expressions that the mom is doing while all of this is happening. So again, she's a very manipulative type of woman. It's like if they do something bad to her, he's like, just like, who is me? And it's really, really disturbing. Now she's trying to choke him, and things just get really, really bad. This is something that really got to me, which is like, don't get smart with me. Who do you think you are? You're just a kid. And that's how volume 3 ends. And I don't know how to process everything that happened in the volume. I'm still having trouble with it, especially the way it ends, because you get to see so many sides of the mom. You don't really get to know which one is the real her, or what is actually happening. Like I said, we are barely scratching the surface of who she really is, or what's really happening with her. So let's move on to volume 4. Okay, so this is volume 4. Here's the cover and the back cover. So after the events of volume 3, volume 4 starts with Seiichi having a nightmare of his mom choking him, and it's really weird to see the mom acting like nothing happened. She's like normal, acting like everything is fine. There's nothing scary or creepy going on here. And so it's been a month already, and the events just keep building up for Seiichi. And in volume 4, he still has the stuttering. He cannot speak until, see, even the teacher is fed up with him. And so everything keeps building up for Seiichi. Even his friends are having fun. They're teasing him. They're just being very mean. They're bullying him until the point where Seiichi has had enough, and everything is just boiling up inside him. And so he lets it go by kicking this desk, and he's making a hole. So he obviously gets in trouble, and his parents are called. And so he goes to this park to kind of get away, have a break from everything that's going on. And that's where his crush shows up. I keep forgetting her name. Let's go look. What's her name? Fukishi. I'm so happy I found her name. Okay, anyways. So Fukishi sees him, and she goes to sit with him and just keep the guy company. But she says that she also has trouble at home, but her dad is like a very drunk type of guy, and he gets violent with her and her mom. And so she would rather just be in that park sitting and not go home to her situation. So they're sitting, and the girl is like she's the only one talking. So she asked him about the letter, and that's the moment that Seiichi starts to speak again, because he's like, I feel the same way about you, so let's go out. So Seiichi now has a girlfriend. And let's go back to the mom being creepy. So she says that she got worried about him because he wouldn't be home, he wasn't coming home, and so she went out to look for him. And she tells him about the call from school. So now he's like, where were you? And she says this, I smell something nice. What is it? Isn't that like weird? Why are you smelling your kid, lady? Why are you doing that? And so in this volume, we get to see how the mom is really obsessed with Seiichi and everything that happens to him and everything that he does. It's like she's a controlling mom, but at the same time in a very obsessive, creepy way, where she wants to keep tabs on everything Seiichi does. And like it's really unnerving. So Seiichi is talking again, and he decides to meet up with Fukishi at the park again. And they're having a moment where they're like talking about everything, and like Seiichi kind of like hints at something, that he shows up at home and she's like waiting for him at the door, and that's really weird for me. And she mentions the smell again, and Seiichi has again trouble to speaking with his mom. And we get to see that throughout everything that is going on, the mom is the one causing Seiichi's stuttering and him not wanting to speak. And that was really obvious from volume 3. But this one, the mom is again being really manipulative and pretty much gaslighting Seiichi. And so she's being creepy again. She goes into her room and is just like, I'm sorry, and then she leaves. This whole manga is so airy, so weird, so I don't know how to explain this. It's like it's been 2 days since I've read the volumes, the mangas, and I still have a lot of trouble trying to process everything that's happening in them. And it's, yeah. If anyone else has struggled with it, like, or if you guys have your own theories, let me know. I would like to speak to you guys about it. Fukishi is telling him about his situation at home, and in this moment where they're having like a really cute, wholesome moment, the mom shows up, and I'm just Hichi, run away. So the mom is there, and I really like this panel. Again, the expressions, even just the eye, you can see how afraid Seiichi is of his mom. And he listened to me, he ran away. But she keeps following them, and she's just like traumatizing them. She's yelling at Fukishi. She tells Fukishi about the letter and how they shred it to pieces, and she's trying to make Seiichi look bad in front of Fukishi, just so that Fukishi will stay away from him. And just look at this. This panel is really like, it's really, really disturbing. And so she is right there. And again, she's crying like she's the victim, like she's the one suffering, when all you're doing, lady, is traumatizing your kid. So again, the relationships she wants to have with Seiichi is really disturbing. Like, she wants to be the only person that matters to Seiichi. Like, pretty much she wants Seiichi to be only dependent on her, and that's not very healthy in my opinion. So the way this volume ends is with her biting through her nail, bleeding, and then smiling, really creepy, and then she goes away. And I agree with Fukishi. His mother is very terrifying, and yes, you should run away. And that's how volume 4 ends. Oh, okay. So, from everything I've read, volumes 3 and 4, I don't know what to think. At first, after volumes 1 and 2, I was kind of gathering the idea that the mom was really overprotective of Seiichi, but in volumes 3 and 4, we see that it's more of an obsession of being the only person that Seiichi counts on. Like I said before, I feel like she wants to have Seiichi only depend on her, to only be the only person in Seiichi's life, to the point where she manipulates him, she's gaslighting him, she is scaring him a lot, to the point where Seiichi feels like he cannot speak up about all the things that are happening in his relationship with his mom, that it's not a very normal type of mother-son relationship. It's very very unsettling the way the mom is acting. And if it's so I'm not sure how to say this, but you feel empathy for Seiichi because he really has no one to speak up to. The dad, I feel like the dad is never home, and that's why he doesn't realize what is going on. And another thing is, I feel like the dad only cares about his side of the family. Like, he doesn't pay attention to his wife or his kid, and it's like he's never really home. And so Seiichi really doesn't have anyone to count on. And now that he has Fukishi, he's like, should I tell everything to her? Because at the same time, Fukishi is also a kid, and there's really not a lot of things she could do to help him. And I don't know how to feel about this. It's a really good psychological thriller. If you guys are into that, I would really recommend this manga. If you're looking for something to read and this October, definitely go for this one. It will have you thinking about everything that happens in each volume, and it's really good. It's really good. It's so weird. I don't know what other word to use. It's eerie, it's unsettling, it's dark, it's really dark, and to the point where again it makes you feel uncomfortable reading this. There were some parts, especially with the facial expressions that Shuso Ushimi draws, where it was really uncomfortable for me to be reading those chapters with those facial expressions, especially the ones that he draws for the mom. So I'm going to end this video here and just say that I recommend this manga for anyone that is looking for a psychological thriller to read this October or just whenever. It's a really good manga. And another thing is, I do plan on reading volume 5 and 6 soon, and I will also be doing a review. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can watch my upcoming review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Bye bye.